It's not free.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Phil's family, Troop 396, and the LaPorte Elks, welcome to a very important event in Phil Scott's life, his Eagle Court of Honor, the end result of several years of very hard work. I'd now like to call on Scouts Tim Rosinski and Jason Diener to please post the colors, and Senior Patrol Leader Pat Hannon to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Scott salute.
Scott salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. You may be seated.
I'd like to call on Potawatomi District Advancement Chairman, the Reverend Ronald Dixon, who chaired Phil's Eagle Border Review, to lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Gentle God, whose spirit filled the vision of Lord Baden-Powell and led many men through the ages to carry this dream of scouting, we give you thanks and praise. This is a day of celebration and joy, and we thank you. We thank you for the dream of the scouting movement, the reverence it promotes. We thank you for these young men gathered here and their families. We thank you for this court of honor. We ask your blessing upon all of us here, and most especially, blessing of our Eagle candidate. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm John Rosinski, the Scoutmaster of Troop 396, and I'm glad to see so many people here to help Phil celebrate his elevation to the rank of Eagle Scout. I'd like to introduce a few people that have played an important role leading to today's ceremony. First, we have Philip Scott. Where'd he go? There he is. He's supposed to be with the troop. Stay there. We have Phil's parents, Chris and Mike Scott. Phil's brother, Brandon. Phil's grandfather, Jack Scott, who is here from Boy Scout headquarters in Texas. He's on his way to the Scout National Jamboree at Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia. And has Phil's maternal grandparents, Janice and Dick Hunsley. Finally, would all of you Eagle Scouts please come forward and present and introduce yourself and tell us the year and the troop in which you received your Eagle.
My name is Doug Muir. I obtained my Eagle in December of 1988 with Troop 876.
My name is Jason Day. I obtained my Eagle in May of 1988 in Troop 39.
I'm Mike Scott, and I received my Eagle in 1968. Don't remember what month it was. Fall of 1968, Troop 12, Richmond, Indiana.
I'm Brody Conklin. I got my Eagle way back in September of 1953, and it was Troop 22, Spokane, Washington.
My name's David Lawrence, and I got my Eagle Scout February of 1962 out of Troop 40, Amsterdam, New York.
Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. John Diener, the former Troop Advancement Chairman, will now review Phil Scott's advancement history.
Thank you, John. I think I'm going to be up here more, or at least longer than anybody else here today because of all the awards, achievements that Phil has accumulated, over the years as a scout. And I'm pleased that he asked me, I lost where he was at, and I'm pleased that Phil asked me to attend the meeting today and to walk through these with you. 21 merit badges are required in order to become an Eagle Scout. And if you were to count with what I'm going to go through here, you'd see that Phil has earned 31 of them, so he's went way beyond the norm for an Eagle. These merit badges are basketry, first aid, scholarship, leather work, mammals, swimming, cooking, motorboating, golf, also Indian lore, canoeing, citizenship in the nation, genealogy, safety, communications. He also has camping and wood carving, life saving, fishing, environmental science, the second citizenship merit badge, citizenship in the community, archery, pioneering, orienteering, personal management, rowing, sports, citizenship in the world, fingerprinting, wilderness survival, and emergency preparedness. 31 merit badges. The ranks and dates that Phil has attained as he's walked up to this point in time with Eagle. Scout was in May of 1985, Tenderfoot, July of 85, second class, 85. He was busy that year. Second class, first class in March of 1986, Star in November of 86, Life, June of 1987, and of course his Eagle today in 1989. Phil attended summer camps 4 years, the Wood Lake Reservation in 85, 86, 87, and then last year in 88 he was a member of the staff there. In his leadership roles, he has served as Boy Scout Den Chief, Cub Scout Den Chief, Chaplain's Aide in 1986. He was Assistant Patrol Leader in 1986, Patrol Leader twice in 87, and the year prior in 1986, Librarian in 1987, and twice Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, 88, and right now 1989. The awards, honors, and special training that he's attained, I think, shows Phil's true mettle. The Arrow of Light in 85, Boy Leader Training for Troop 396, God and the Church Award. That is for contributions made to his church, which ends up contributing also to the community. I've seen very few scouts get this award, at least in the LaPorte area, which I'm familiar with. The most advanced Scout of the Year for Troop 396 in 1987. He attained more rank advancements and more merit badges than any other member of the troop. The Order of Arrow Sauk Chapter in 1988, and he's also the 1989 Elections Committee and Communications on the Elections Committee and the Communications Committee for the Sauk Chapter. What else can I say? I just want to congratulate Phil. And again, I appreciate him asking me to be here today.
Thank you, John. The Eagle Guard of Honor for today's ceremony, Jason Day of LaPorte, Doug Muir of Michigan City, will now lead us in the song Trail the Eagle, which is in your program. Would everyone please stand?
Trail eagle, climbing all the time. First the star and then the light will on your bosom shine. Please the trail and we will follow. Hark the eagle's call. On, brothers, on until we're eagles all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thanks to Mr. Frank Prentice of Valpo, we are able to have the following special ceremony for today's Court of Honor. Would the following scouts please take their places at the appropriate rank level? Gary Marshall for Scout. Mike Bevan, Tenderfoot. Jeff Apple, Second Class. Matt Elser, First Class. Pat Hannon, Star. Jason Diener, Life. And Jason Day, Eagle. Eagle Scout Doug Muir will now escort the Eagle candidate along the trail to Eagle.
For the Scout rank, Scout must understand and intend to live by the Scout oath, law, motto, and slogan, and the outdoor code. He must know the Scout sign, the Scout salute, and the hand flag. He also must understand the significance of the Scout badge and take part in the Scoutmaster Conference. For the Tenderfoot rank, the Scout must be active for at least 2 months in his troop and patrol. He must repeat from memory the Scout oath and law and explain the meaning of each point. He must demonstrate that he has practiced the meaning of the Scout oath and law in his everyday life. He must earn citizenship and 1 other skill award and take part in a Scoutmasters Conference. For the second class rank, Scout must be active for at least 2 months as a Tenderfoot Scout. He must show Scout spirit, earn hiking, first aid, and 1 other skill award, and take part in a Scoutmasters Conference. For the first class rank, Scout must be active for at least 2 months as a second class Scout. He must show Scout spirit, earn camping, cooking, and 1 other skill award. He must earn the first aid merit badge, and he must know how to swim. He has to tell what precautions must be taken for a safe swim, jump feet first into water over his head, swim for 50 yards, and during the swim, he must stop, make a sharp turn, level off, and resume swimming. He must also take part in a Scoutmasters Conference. Next is the star rank. You must be active for at least 4 months as a first-class scout. You must show scout spirit and earn 5 more merit badges, including any 3 from the required list for Eagle. While a first-class scout, you must take part in service projects totaling at least 6 hours of work. These projects must be approved by the Scoutmaster. While a first-class scout, you must serve actively for 4 months in one or more of the following positions: patrol leader, senior patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader, den chief, scribe, librarian, historian, quartermaster, bugler, chaplain aide, member of the leadership corps, instructor, or a junior assistant scoutmaster. You must also take part in the Scoutmasters Conference. For the life rank, Scout must be active for at least 6 months as a Star Scout. He must show Scout spirit, earn 5 more merit badges, including 3 more from the required list for Eagle. While a Star Scout, he must take part in service projects totaling at least 6 hours of work, and again these projects must be approved by the Scoutmaster. While a Star Scout, he must serve actively for 6 months in one or more of the leadership positions listed for the Star Scout. He must also take part in a Scoutmasters Conference. And finally, the Eagle rank. You must be active for at least 6 months as a Life Scout. You must show Scout spirit. You must earn a total of 21 merit badges, including the following: First Aid, Citizenship in the Community, Citizenship in the Nation, Citizenship in the World, Communications, Safety, Emergency Preparedness or Life-Saving, Environmental Science, Personal Management, Personal Fitness or Swimming or Sports, and Camping. While a Life Scout, you must serve actively for a period of 6 months in one or more of the following positions: Patrol Leader, Senior Patrol Leader, Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Den Chief, Scribe, Librarian, Quartermaster, Member of the Leadership Corps, Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, Chaplain Aide, or Instructor. While a Life Scout, you must plan, develop, and give leadership to others in a service project, which is helpful to your religious institution, school, church, or community. The project idea must be approved by the Scoutmaster and Troop Committee and reviewed by the council or district before you start. You must also take part in a Scoutmasters Conference.
Would Scouts Steve Rosinski and Mike Bevan please conduct the candle lighting ceremony?
At last. At last. At last. Right.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout is trustworthy.
The Scout tells the truth, keeps his promises. Honesty is part of his code of conduct. People can depend on him.
Scout is loyal.
The Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, school, and the nation.
Scout is helpful.
The Scout is concerned about other people. He does things for others without pay or reward.
The Scout is friendly.
The Scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other Scouts. He seeks to understand others. He respects those with ideas and customs other than his own.
The Scout is courteous.
The Scout is polite to everyone, regardless of age or position. He knows good manners, make it easier for people to get along together.
The Scout is kind.
The Scout understands their strength and being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated. He does not hurt or feel harmless things without a reason.
The Scout is obedient.
The Scout follows the rules of the family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of the community and county. If he thinks these rules and laws are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobey them.
The Scout is cheerful.
The Scout looks for the bright side of things. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy.
The Scout is thrifty.
The Scout works to pay his way with his homeowners. He saves for unseen needs. He protects and conserves natural resources. He carefully uses them, time and profit.
The Scout is brave.
The Scout can face danger even if he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh or threaten him.
The Scout is clean.
The Scout keeps his body and mind fit and clean. He goes around with those who believe and live by these same ideals. He keeps his home and community clean.
The Scout is reverent.
The Scout is reverent toward God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects the beliefs of others.
Thank you. Would the Scouts please be seated? Phil and Doug, would you please stay up there? Mr. Phil McCleary, the Potawatomi District Scout Executive, will now explain the significance of the parts of the Eagle Badge.
We now come to the part of the ceremony where we are to give recognition to the candidate for the rank of Eagle Scout. The awarding of the Eagle rank is an important and serious matter. It is a climax and goal for which Philip has been working for many years. It is a culmination of various efforts of the leaders of his troop. This is the occasion for pride and joy and a time for serious contemplation. We realize that this is the highest and most coveted rank in all of scouting. It is the last major step in the advancement program. If we have not yet achieved our purpose of building character in the training of leadership and in the practice of service, we probably never shall. It is important that Philip should understand that the Eagle rank is a responsibility as well as an honor. It is also important that you be informed of the meaning of the Eagle badge before it is awarded. The red of the badge indicates courage. Courage gives all character, force, and strength. Trusting God and with faith in your fellow man, you face each day unafraid and seek your share of the world's work to do. Let red remind you always of courage. The red ribbon on the badge should always remind you to live with honor. An eagle's honor is sacred. Honor is the foundation of all character. Character is what one is down deep inside, not what someone thinks one is. An eagle will so live that he will reflect upon his home, his church, his school, his friends, and upon himself. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor. The blue of the badge stands for loyalty. An eagle is loyal to his ideals. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day that thou canst not be false to any man. Neither gain nor profit, pride nor personal loss shall swerve him in his loyalty. The blue is an emblem of loyalty. The final obligation of an Eagle Scout is service. The badge itself extends a helping hand to those who still toil up the scouting ladder, which he has completed, just as others help him in his achievement to the Eagle rank. The habit of the good turn daily must take on new meaning and blossom forth in a life of service. He protects and defends the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and oppressed. He upholds the right of the others while demanding his own. His code of action is based upon the belief that real leadership must be founded upon real service. Philip, if you are ready and willing to accept the responsibility of the rank of Eagle, please respond by saying, I am. In recognition of these obligations, we ask that you reaffirm the Scout Oath. The Scout sign and repeat the Scout Oath.
On my honor, I'll do my best, do my duty, to guide my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Would Eagle Scout Jason Day please escort the candidates' parents forward? Why don't we come down here where we can get the microphone? Phil, it is with great pride that I give this Eagle Medal to your mother to present to you. Now, if you would pin this mother's pin on your mother.
Kiss him, Chris. That's hard up.
Around, we can watch.
Yeah. He'll present his father's pin to your father. Phil, congratulations. Here's your Eagle badge, your Eagle certificate card, and this plaque certifying you as an Eagle Scout. And from the troop, along with your membership in the National Eagle Scout Association, now would an Eagle Scout Brody Conklin please come forward and present the Eagle Charge. Incidentally, Brody was Phil's Cub Master in Pack 390.
Notice how I snuck that handshake in there. I thought that this was really an honor to be asked to come up here and do this, since about 8 years ago, Phil and Mike hit our pack with about the same impact as a thunderbolt. And during Mike's tenure as assistant Cub Master and Phil's tenure as Bobcat through Arrow of Light, we had the largest commissioned group of any kind in the entire council. We had upwards of 90 Cub Scouts in our pack, and it was a real thriving and entirely too chaotic of an organization. My impression of the scouting trail is a nice leafy trail that winds through the woods someplace, probably at a scout camp where you used to work or attended. And along the scouting trail are the various ranks and the various leaders that you come across in your experience. And in each bend in the road, there's another kind of leader. First you have your den leaders, and then your Webelos leaders, and your Cub Masters and Scout Masters, and so on and so forth. And standing around the bend here one day, here comes Phil Scott. There are a lot of boys that come along that trail. Very few of them get to the other end. And Phil is one of these guys that was always leading the way, pulling the other guys along behind. Not one of the ones that was dragging his feet, and not one of the ones, obviously, that dropped out along the way. So it's an honor for me to read this challenge to you, Phil. The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To be an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of all character. He knows that a Scout is trustworthy as the very first point of the Scout law for a good reason. An Eagle Scout lives honorably, not only because honor is important to him, but because of the vital significance of the example he sets for other Scouts. Living honorably reflects credit on his home, his church, his troop, and his community. May the white of the Eagle badge remind you always to live with honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. The Scout is true to his family, Scout leaders, friends, schools, and nation. His loyalty to his troop and brother Scouts makes him pitch in and carry his share of the load. All of these help to build the loyalty, which means devotion to community, country, and one's own ideals, and to God. Let the blue of the Eagle badge always inspire your loyalty. The third obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage has always been the quality by which men measure themselves and others. To a Scout, bravery means not only the courage to face physical danger, but the determination to stand up for the right. Trusting in God, faith in his fellow man, he looks forward to each day, seeking his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of the Eagle badge remind you always of courage. The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind the Eagle Scout to always wear a smile, the red, white, and blue ribbon is attached to the scroll of the second-class Scout, which always has its ends turned up in a smile. The final responsibility of an Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle Scout extends a helping hand to those who still toil up Scouting's trail, just as others helped him to climb to the Eagle. The performance of daily good turn takes on a new meaning as when he enters the more adult life of continuing service to others. The Eagle stands as protector of the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and the oppressed. He upholds the right of others while defending his own. He will always be prepared and do his best. You deserve much credit for having achieved Scouting's highest award, but wear your award with humility, ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example. May the Scout Oath and the Scout Law be your guide for tomorrow and onward. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Brody. Now, Phil's grandfather, Mr. Jack Scott, has a letter to read.
Still trying to figure out when you go to these things, I don't care where you are in the country, you end up singing on Wisconsin. And I guess after last night, us Big Ten people should be singing to the victors and saying, "Go Blue," maybe, you know. I bring you greetings from the National Council, the Chief Scout Executive Ben Lund, the National President of the Boy Scouts of America, Harold Hook. I'm going to hand deliver a letter to Philip here in just a moment. It's addressed to him and says, "Dear Philip, we are pleased to congratulate you on attaining the Eagle Award. Your diligence and hard work have earned for you the distinction of being an Eagle. You join company with a select group of men who are recognized as outstanding in all that Scouting represents. Remember that you assume added responsibility as an Eagle Scout to uphold the proud traditions and high standards of Scouting. We know that the Scout Oath and Law will guide you in your daily living, and that they will form the foundation for the development of your own personal code of conduct. With such a basis, you will find greater happiness and fulfillment in your associations with others and inward peace and contentment. Best wishes for continued success in all that you do. Harold S. Hook, President of the Boy Scouts of America. Ben H. Love, Chief Scout Executive. Your letter. And this is for me, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. I'd now like to introduce Robert Billman, who is Troop 396's Scouting Coordinator from the Elks, to offer some words on behalf of the Elks.
First of all, congratulations, Phil.
Thank you.
Spent a little time in the boat trying to catch fish a few years back. Stuff like that to get the fishing merit badge, the golf merit badge I worked with Phil on. From the whole Elks Lodge and Tom Teeter, our exalted ruler, congratulations. Something that's not been done for years around here will start with Phil and hopefully continue. That is, we want copies of certain pictures to go in an album that we intend to, first of all, show at the state level, and if we should win, at the national in their convention this summer. Philip, I'm probably more nervous than you are, but what an achievement, and I hope you will stay active in the troop as long as you possibly can, and as the letter from the National indicated, I hope that you will help other young men achieve the highest rank they can achieve. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Bob. I'd like to introduce a few of the Assistant Scoutmasters that has helped Phil. We'll start with the back. I'll work up. Is David Lawrence, former Eagle Scout, or Eagle Scout. Chris Elser, the Assistant Scoutmaster. There he is. Mike Downs, Assistant Scoutmaster. Gordy Baker, Assistant Scoutmaster. Pat Hannon, Assistant Scoutmaster. I'm not going to forget Tom Toda. He just dropped out, but he was Assistant Scoutmaster for quite a few years. Did I miss anybody? It's hard to see in this with these lights on. I think I caught them all. Mike Scott is an Assistant Scoutmaster, by the way. Phil has indicated that he would like to say a few words. Phil?
I would like to thank everyone who has helped me get to Eagle. I especially like to thank everybody who helped me with my Eagle Service Project. First, I'd like to thank all the adults who helped. Mr. Ozinski, Mr. Elser, Mr. Diener, Mr. Baker, Mr. Hannon, Mr. Griffin from the Park Department, Mr. and Mrs. Hunsley, my grandparents, and my mom and dad. I would like to thank Mr. Heist from the Park Department, who helped me decide on this project and allowed me to carry out my plans. Thanks to all the boys who helped, Matt and Greg Elser, Mike Conklin, Adam, Mike, and Pat Hannon, Matt, Tim, and Steve Rosinski, Jeff Apple, Brent Owen, Chris Tharp, Scott Baker, Marty Freeman, Mike Bevan, and my brother Brendan. Thank you also to all the parents who helped bring their boys to the project. Incidentally, the workers that helped me work in my Eagle Service Project worked a total of 206 hours in a total of 3 days. I would also like to thank all my merit badge counselors and all my Scoutmasters and Assistant Scoutmasters. I'd especially like to thank Mr. Parkinson, who helped me have several merit badges. I'd like to thank the boy leaders who helped me move up through the scouting ranks. I'd like to thank my minister, Reverend Dr. Bill Flewelling, who helped me with both my God and Church awards in Cub Scouts, God and Family, and in Boy Scouts, God and Church. Thank you to everybody who has come to my Court of Honor today.
The Reverend Dr. William Flewelling of the LaPorte First Christian Church, who is Phil's pastor, will now offer the benediction.
The Lord who lifts up eyes to higher vision and lifts up minds to purer service, satisfy the honor of the eagle with the service of humankind. Amen.
Would Tim Rosinski and Jason Diener please retire the colors? Please stand. Scouts, attention. Scout salute. Two. Please be seated. On behalf of the Scott family and Troop 396, we'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Refreshments will be served at the back, and you're all invited to partake. Thank you.